Welcome back to The Bible's Art, where we explore the literary artistry of the Bible, and this week we're talking about the naked man in Mark. Right after Jesus is arrested, Mark tells us this: "And a young man followed him with nothing but a linen cloth about his body, and they seized him, but he left the linen cloth and ran away naked." Now, this is one of those texts that beg for symbolic interpretation, because sometimes the meaning of a text is obvious, other times it's not. And then there are those rare cases like this, where the meaning is both not clear and the text is strange. And what's great about these texts is that while their meaning is opaque, what is clear is that it does have a symbolic meaning. So let's figure it out. The first two things we're told about this character is that he's young and he is following Jesus. Now, the author wants us to evaluate this as a very good thing, because all the way back in the first chapter of Mark, the ideal action to take with respect to Jesus is following, the same verb Mark uses in our text. This man's virtue is further heightened because he's young. He's starting to follow Jesus early in his life. So that's two positive attributes of our character. And then we get a third. He follows Jesus after he is arrested. Just a few verses ago, all the other disciples left Jesus, they ceased following him, but this young man follows Jesus in spite of him being arrested. But that's not all. We're given a fourth positive attribute of this character. He's wearing nothing but his undergarments. That is, he's willing to act righteously, quickly, even shamefully. So this is an exemplary man, a young man of the highest character. Then we get into the center of this micro story, the conflict. This young man is seized, the same verb that was used for Jesus just a few verses ago. And what will he do? Up to this point, he's done everything to identify with Jesus. But unfortunately, this price was too high. He's willing to be shamed, but only in his own way and on his own terms. He's even willing to endure another level of shame, complete nakedness, one step further down from his half-nakedness, all in order to not follow Jesus into his death. And this young man's last actions are a symmetrical undoing of his first. So instead of following, he runs away. Instead of a linen cloth, he's naked. Each of these actions are ramping up his previous ones, but in the opposite direction. Okay, but what's the point of this story at this point in Mark? Well, Mark is filled with stories of people who follow Jesus. But not everyone who follows Jesus fully knows what it means, what Jesus' kingdom will be like. And there are some who are willing to do much for Jesus, but only to a point. Following Jesus involves shame, even to the shame of death. And that, my friends, is why the Bible is art. Thank you so much for checking out the video this week. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to support the channel, that would be lovely. You can do so at patreon.com/thebibleisart, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.